All right, all right. Big news. The Browns and Denzel Ward have come to an agreement on a 5-year extension, which means the next 5 seasons, or maybe the next six if they don't count the 1 year he already had left on his deal this year. But Denzel Ward and the Cleveland Browns have agreed to a 5-year, $100.5 million contract extension. This is technically the largest cornerback contract in NFL history. Now, this has been one of those things where people have been leapfrogging people this offseason. So Denzel Ward's just the latest one to get in line. And he does get that. That's what that 0.5 is there for. That $500,000 to make him the highest paid in the league. Browns have agreed to a 5-year, $100.5 million, 71.25 guaranteed contract, with Adam Schefter reporting this earlier today. This is huge money, a huge commitment for Denzel Ward. Now, there are going to be people who see this as a huge positive because Denzel Ward is and has been pretty much since he's came into the league one of the 5 best corners in the AFC, if not at times last year, he was one of the best corners in football, right? So to have a guy like that be available, you like to get on him. Now, I kind of thought that they might have been willing to let Denzel Ward walk just because they had other corners on the roster. The Cleveland Browns are saying, no, we're going to get this handled right now. So when you look at this roster, and I know that people the first time, like whenever you hear somebody sign, there's always going to be the people who freak out. Oh my God, what are we going to do when this guy comes up or that guy comes up? All the guys have come up at this point, right? Kareem Hunt has a new deal. He'll be here for a couple more years. Nick Chubb got a new deal done last year, so they're locked up. Wyatt Teller's locked up. Joe Bitonio is locked up. Jedrick Wills is on a rookie deal. They're going to let Conklin go probably next year, and it's going to be James Hudson. They got another rookie contract there at center. And then you look at wide receiver, they already got Amari Cooper's money on the books. And by the way, if this extension works like other extensions, expect the Browns cap number to actually go down because they paid Denzel Ward this year, because they can move that 5th-year option money around a little bit more now that there's an extension in hand. So look for that to be something that could open up more cap space for the Cleveland Browns if they want to use it. But yeah, so you get that. On the defensive side, now you have Denzel Ward locked up. JOK is under a rookie deal. Hopefully you can get something figured out with Clowney for the next couple of years. Myles Garrett is, of course, already locked up, and you have John Johnson in the contract for a couple of years. So I know people freak out. Oh, my God, what are the Browns going to do in free agency for the next couple of years? One, they got some space. They got some room to maneuver into. The core of the roster, and a good amount that goes around the core of the roster, is already here or are under rookie deals. So there's really not a lot from a cap perspective to really be that worried about. I know that it's kind of an initial reaction for a lot of people to freak out about the cap. Now, what are my own personal thoughts on this, right? The money, the years, everything else. I think this is a good deal, right? If they feel like Denzel Ward, and by the way, one of the things that wasn't mentioned a lot, I see people bring up his injuries a ton for a reason not to sign him. But when it comes to Denzel Ward, like last year, he didn't miss any games because he was injured. He missed games because of COVID. So he had a pretty healthy year last year. He's had more healthy years as the years have gone on with him, right? Even in 2020, he didn't miss that many games because of injury. I believe he missed 2 games because of like a groin injury, but every other game he missed was because of COVID. So he is somebody who that's been getting on the right track with, right? The injury stuff that's bugged you in the past with him, that's been getting on the right track. And his play has just jumped tremendously. I know some like Denzel Ward and Myles Garrett, because they're so talented, people expect so much out of them that when they're not looking like prime Deion Sanders and prime Reggie White, like people start to freak out and act like they're not doing anything. But like even the games that people told me that Denzel Ward played bad, he did not play bad. He's an excellent corner. He's an excellent piece to have on the defense. There was a question about whether you wanted to go long-term and commit to a guy like Denzel Ward, who had injury questions his first 2 years in the NFL, knowing what the talent level is. The Browns have decided to go all in on Denzel Ward. They're going all in on this year, next year, and the year after. To the Browns, I think they feel like they've not only extended this Super Bowl window, but opened up a new one entirely. They're shooting for these next 3 years to make something happen. And it's going to be exciting to see what goes down. Again, Denzel Ward extending with the Cleveland Browns, $71.25 guaranteed over 5 years, $100 million in total. It's the most expensive contract in cornerback history by $500,000. So there is that. Good on Denzel Ward, and good on the front office, because you know what? They have kept a lot of the mainstays, right? And I know there was this weird narrative going around for a couple of weeks about Andrew Berry that I always found kind of goofy, that Andrew Berry was like deliberately trying to get rid of Dorsey picks. Like, remember when that one was going around? Yeah, that's not what's happening here, right? He's re-signed numerous very good Dorsey picks. Like, Baker's the one that he's let go. Kind of understandable, right? There have been others that he has let go, but it's clearly about level of play and not about who drafted him. So these are a lot of things, a lot of questions being answered right now with Denzel Ward signing this extension. Not going to lie, this caught me by surprise. I didn't think this was going to happen. I thought Denzel Ward was going to walk in free agency after this year, but good on the Browns. They figured it out. They found a deal. I would be interested to see what the cap hits look like with this deal. I know people are going to post figures right now, but nobody knows those figures right now. So don't trust anything that anybody tells you about when that cap hit is going to be. All we're doing is speculating and trying to approximate. Remember that when these contracts get leaked out, they get leaked out by the agency. So they're going to be a little bit more favorable to make the agency that got that deal for Denzel Ward look better. We'll see what the cap hits are like. And again, no cap penalty. Like, I'm not about to do salary cap panicking right now. This is not the time nor the place for that. So overall, happy for that. Real happy for that. There's some Baker Mayfield news. Let's get back into that stuff. But yeah, there is some Baker Mayfield news. Apparently, it's heating up between the Browns and the Panthers about this Baker Mayfield trade. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know what it's going to be. I still think that there's a pretty good chance. I think the chances are like this. There's like a 20% chance he gets traded to the Panthers, which are decent odds. I think there's a 30% chance, well, not a 30. I think there's another 15% chance that he gets traded by somebody else. I think there is a small, like 2% chance that he gets traded somewhere with the expectation that he's going to get cut for some kind of weird benefit for whatever team does it, right? Maybe a team eats the cat space, and then the Browns give him like a third or a fourth or something like that. Like, that scenario's a little possible. I would say very unlikely, but a little possible. And then the rest of the percentages you could just put to him being released. Like, I don't know if he gets traded. There seems to be some momentum here. But even as that report came out, another report came out saying that, hey, Baker Mayfield's not the only one that the Panthers are looking for. Again, they could look for a Jimmy Garoppolo, and then it becomes a reverse bidding war, right? Who wants to bid the least for the right player? And if Jimmy Garoppolo becomes available, maybe even Jared Goff can come available. That could be something that can mess up the Browns' chances. Even though if Jared Goff became available and they moved Jared Goff to, like, let's say the Panthers, and then Baker would probably be available for the Lions to take in, that might be something we could see. But again, the Baker Mayfield news stuff, there has been a little bit more than nothing, which there's been nothing for like 2.5 weeks. So a little bit more than nothing is kind of a deal here, but nothing that seems imminent, nothing that seems like it's on its way anytime soon. But those are the two big pieces of news over the weekend. Denzel Ward getting a massive, massive extension from the Cleveland Browns. 5 years, $100 million, well-deserved for one of the best corners in football. And Baker Mayfield is still in limbo, but it looks like there might be a light at the end of the tunnel, whether it's going to be a release or a trade. we will see, right? We will see how long the Browns are willing to hold on to Baker if they don't plan to use him in any way, shape, form, or capacity. And we will see how long that situation remains tenable with those parties to the point to where they can still maintain a business relationship. But again, Denzel Ward back with the Browns, 5-year deal, huge money. And Baker Mayfield, future still uncertain, but it looks a lot more likely than it did a couple of weeks ago that his future will be in Carolina. We'll see what happens. But I want to thank you guys for watching. You have a great day. Have a good night.